It's kind of back in New York, but kind of not. What's your hope for the fact that we will get real Turo experience? We'll get the real sharing of cars, peer-to-peer using of, I can then use Taylor's car and I'll have the right sort of insurance to do so.
Well, we hope we'll be able to provide that soon. But what we're starting with as part one of our return to the state of New York is the launch of commercial hosts, as you mentioned. And frankly, this couldn't come at a better time. As we just heard, subway ridership is down, ride sharing, ride hailing is down. I think many customers, many consumers want the safety of the private space of a car. And frankly, New Yorkers are really saddled with probably the worst traditional car rental experience in the country. The prices are high, selection is terrible, the service is terrible. So we hope to offer, with our return to the state of New York, a better alternative for New Yorkers, a better alternative to the car rental behemoths in New York. And we're curating a roster of independent, licensed, and insured car rental entrepreneurs of all sizes to do so. And then we'll start with that, and hopefully we'll be able to launch the pure peer-to-peer tour experience at a later stage. We're still working very hard with regulators and the legislature of the state of New York in order to enable that.
It's an interesting concept, and you're certainly right. The rental process here in New York is atrocious, to say the least. I am curious, though, that right now there is this trend where people want to avoid public transit. They want to have more private space, or at least the optionality for that. Next year, the general assumption is we're going to have a vaccine. We're all going to be, at some point, back to our normal routines. What makes you think that people also won't revert back to their normal transportation routines, meaning public transit, cabs, Ubers, et cetera?
I think there will definitely be some of that return. I definitely expect with the vaccination rollouts next year, a lot of the traditional ways to commute, whether it's public transit or ride hailing, will make a return. But we also are excited about the return to travel. And we know that car sharing and Turo in particular is a great way for people to pick a car and go out for the weekend, or even be able to book a flight and then get a Turo at their destination. So we're very excited about vaccination and the return to travel next year.
What are you doing on the efficiency front? We've been all in those lines. It's 10 persons deep. There's only one person behind the counter. It takes 20 minutes a person to finally get the keys to the car. And so it's an hour by the time you actually get in the rental car. Are you speeding up that process? How are you doing that?
Yeah, with Turo, you handle everything in the app, which makes it super easy. You don't have to stand in line. You don't have to go to a particular agency. In fact, many of our hosts, if not the majority of our hosts, offer delivery of the vehicle to your home or to your hotel if you're visiting. So we try to make it super easy. It's one of the reasons why customers prefer Turo. We just make it easier.
You're seeing revenue growth again. What about the profitability of this, whether it be in New York or the other states where you operate fully at the moment? What sort of margins are you getting on per booking, per day trip?
This year has been a tremendous focus for us around profitability. And in Q3, as you mentioned earlier, Caroline, we hit record revenues. We were up year over year. October was up even further at 17% year over year. But also our profitability also hit new records in Q3. And we are very optimistic about the company being fully sustainable and profitable in the next 12 to 18 months.